Hello guys, welcome to Data Hacks. In this video, I'm going to explain about types of rendering in server components. First, you need to know about server components. React server components allow you to write UI that can be rendered and optionally cached on the server. In Next.Js, the rendering work is further split by route segment to enable streaming and partial rendering, which means if we are going to use a server components, the UI will be the result will be created in from the server and it will be moved to the browser. So the performance will be enhanced and you can have a security enhancement. Also you can hide the important details. In server components we have three different strategy to render. First one is static rendering, second one is dynamic rendering, final one is streaming. In this video I'm going to explain about static rendering, dynamic rendering. For streaming I will create a separate video. If you want to understand streaming, subscribe the YouTube channel, you will get the updates. First, static rendering. With static rendering, routes are rendered at the build time. So all the files will be created at the build time. Either in the background after data revalidation. The result is cached and can be pushed to the content delivery network. The results of an API will be cached and stored. So the performance will be enhanced. This optimization allow you to share the result of the rendering work between user and the server request. Next, I am going to explain about dynamic rendering. During rendering, if a dynamic function or uncatched data request is discovered, Next.js will automatically switch to the dynamic rendering the whole route. In previous static rendering, we see the data will be cached. If there is no data is cached, even though data is cached and also data which are coming dynamically is present, it will the Next.js itself automatically change to the dynamic rendering. Let's start the practical implementation of two rendering methods. First, let me close the terminal, open the source app directory. I'm going to create a file called render. Inside this render method, I'm going to create page.jsx. Create a React functional component. So we don't need this React. And you have to change this to capital and here also. Always function name should start with capital letter. Next, let's go to the browser. Check for some fake API. Here we have JSON placeholder. Go to the post. Copy the URL. So here we have the predefined data. So we can use for anywhere for demo. Here I'm going to provide await fetch URL. So here you can see await is showing error. This is due to our function is not asynchronous. Asynchronous. So we have given here, it should be moved here. Asynchronous function, create a variable called data. Let's keep it as a requested data. Next, I'm going to create another variable called constant data and provide await request data.json. So here we are getting data, and in second line we are converting the data into JSON format. So here, instead of this page, I'm going to create h1 tag, h1 curly braces, new date to locally and string. And here below I'm going to create data with the API which we have get the data from this API. So let's loop the values and pass it values return div tag here value dot title, and I'm going to provide index. So here I'm going to provide a key value dot id. So once we go to the fake API, here we have id title. You can see all this value. Let's open the terminal npm run dev. So here this page should generate a file. Let's check in the local. Now Next.Js server has been triggered. Go to the home page and navigate or route toward the render page. Here you can see time value and datas. I'm going to refresh the page. After refreshing, you can see the time value has been updating here. Here you can see time value has been updating every time. If it is a static page, it should not update. This issue is due to we are running file in a local server. We should generate the build file. Then only it will create static files. So stop, trigger the build files. Once the build file has been generated successfully, we can check this again. So the build file has been generated successfully. You can see this render page is static. You can see the symbol, and here you can see it is automatically render static file. Let's start the build files. Start it and go to the client. Here I'm going to again reload. You can see it is not changing. It has changed only one time because the new build file. If you refresh, you can see the data has been static. This is due to close the terminal. Here the API call will automatically consider we have to catch. Catching will happen automatically. Here, if the data is catched, it will generate the static files. If there is no catches happening, catch, no catch, and go to the terminal. You can see here the render page has been static here. After killing this, and I'm going to create again build file. Here the build file has been generated. Here you can see now the render page is showing dynamic rendering, like it has using server render at runtime. It has been changed. This is due to we have removed the catch. So it has been Next.js itself understanding it should be generate dynamically. So here I'm going to start the build file. Build file has been triggered. Go to the browser, reload the page. Now the data has been updating dynamically, but the page has been generated from server side only. So now you understand the basic difference between static pages and dynamic pages in server components. Here we have another pointer in case if you are not using this catch, like we are removing this no catch, then how we can make the page dynamically. In about page you can see the dynamic values which is depend from external value, which is external value. If you go to the browser you can see about .slug, it is also dynamic value. Here in slug page.js, the, the values has been coming from the external, coming from external. There is the the value is depend upon external factors, so it is generating in a dynamic value. If we are providing external factors which need to be generated in a file, at that time also it will consider as a dynamic routing. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this, hit the like button, subscribe the YouTube channel. You will get the updates regularly on time.